Alright, so in this video I'm going to go over the new, to me, APC PDU, which I just got in the mail. Basically this is a rack mount power supply, or power bar, sorry, power distribution unit actually, even better, which allows for individual control of all 8 outlets, current readout, and it also has a web interface to log in remotely. Now this video will be covering this physical device itself too, but also the reset procedure for the administrator password. Using the basically the only way to get this onto a network is to use the serial port, which is this kind of annoying RJ12 connector, but thankfully if you have an old phone RJ11 you can wire it up yourself. Oops. And it works absolutely fantastically. And this, sorry about the focus on this is going to be probably a bit weird, new phone. But anyways, yes, to basically get this on the network, you need to manually enter the default gateway and assign this an IP address, which you cannot do with anything but the administrative level account, which had the password changed. And so basically, the procedure for that, they didn't, it's not in the manual or anything that you can find, I guess for security reasons for this sort of thing, even though it is sort of just a PDU. The reset procedure involves basically pressing this reset pin twice. When you press it once, these LEDs will sort of alternate. This one, bottom one here, will flash extremely quickly, and I believe this one is on steady green. And then you need to press it a second time, at which point this turns off, and this one will turn orange, blink once, and then turn off. And once both lights are off, you need to be at your terminal, which I also forgot. The first step to do is to connect to the terminal, press enter a few times so that it says enter username, or just the username prompt. Do not type anything in. You go reset this by pressing this twice, waiting for those to turn off, and then you hit enter again to get another login prompt. It took a few seconds for the system to sort of reboot, but you just hit enter a few times. And once you get new prompts, then you need to enter APC twice for the username and the password as the default one. Afterwards, you need to go into, well, we'll discuss that in the next section. Alright, and so this is the point when, after your power bar was fully rebooted, or fully set up actually, basically this is when you would need to reset it. Sorry about that. So at this point, this is when you would go over to it, press the reset button, wait a fraction of a second, press it again, and come back here. Now, this isn't actually being reset right now, but at this point you basically just hit the enter key multiple times. It would look like this until you got a second prompt like that. Then you would need to enter APC as the username, and APC again as the password. Now at this point it is not fully reset, so you need to go into System, which is number 3, User Manager, and then, oops, where is it? Oh yeah, sorry, it's just under Administrator. And so at this point you would be prompted to enter a new administrative password, where you would enter APC, and then this is basically, it would basically skip this first login part. I'm pointing at the screen. It would skip this part, so it would basically bring you right to this, enter new administrative username, at which point you would enter APC, and then new password again, APC, and confirm the password. Of course, you could do anything you want here. Now, the new administrative authentication is just a random phrase, I guess, as some sort of backup. I'm not entirely sure. But for that, they basically had me put in admin space user space phrase. And again. And that's basically how you do it. So then you just want to accept the changes, and you can go on back. Now, there is one other detail before you can start using this, which was a little bit finicky. Basically, once you, well, actually, hang on, let's just go into here. So basically, you want to go into the network and TCP/IP And this is where you would manually define the IP address and default gateway. That way you can connect to the web address. However, it's using a slightly odd or old SSL certificate. I think it's 768-bit. And now they don't want anything less than like 1,268 or something along those lines. I can't quite recall. But you can't get into the web interface through pretty much all modern browsers. So what you actually need to go to is number 6, the Web SSL TLS options. Then you basically want to go into number 2, the SSL TLS options, and disable them. Which, again, there may be some other workaround for this, but this is a home network application. I don't strictly need this SSL certificate. It's basically kind of useless to me. At this point, jeez. Okay. Hopefully this is still recording, or I will be very angry. But basically at this point you want to accept your changes, you want to go back and log out. And then this is when it takes a little bit to reboot the system, and basically then you can connect to the web page. So then you basically just type in the IP address for your router, or device, sorry. APC. There are 3 different administrative or account levels. There's administrative, device user, and guest, which have different levels of access, but to change anything you need to be the administrator. So then you can log in. You can see a readout of the amps. You can see event history. You can... Oops, I haven't messed around with this actually. You can individually turn on and off the outlets, I believe, fairly easily. And then there are various configuration options where you can set delays after it reboots. And there are also... Where is it? Let's see. You can set a custom... Yeah, here we are. Warning overload threshold. Now, for this unit, and I'll show this again in person, it had a 16, or I believe 20 amp actually plug. One of the locking types. But I do not have that. And I'm only using... everything with NEMA 15 plugs, only 15 amp circuits. So basically I don't need that. So I cut off the plug, put a new one in. So the overload alarm threshold will actually be at 15 amps, and the warning threshold I will set it at 14 amps or so. Even though that's, well, I might want to go a bit lower. Because this is going to be all on 50 amp circuitry with 15 amp devices. So I'm just going to apply that now, and then we'll switch back over to the actual personal video, so I can show the boot up procedure and also the delayed start. Alright, and I'm going to show this complete startup procedure. Here's the transplanted plug. This is actually the original type. I believe it's 15 amp. Could be 16 amp outlet since this whole thing is rated for 16 amps. I can't quite recall now. But basically just stuck a regular one on it. And so I'm going to show you the full length of time it takes to boot up. And I set a delay. The delay for each outlet is minimum 5 up to 60 seconds. And this is so that if you have servers which automatically power on when power is restored, you can stage them so that it doesn't basically pull, you know, crap load of amperage all at once. So we'll just plug it in. And I was a bit concerned. At first the overload light lit up, and I wasn't sure if something was wrong with it, but it does take quite a while actually. And then I changed this to a warning light, although it's on warning already this time. And so I basically set up, this is on the 5 seconds, either each 1 second afterwards, so it goes up to 12 seconds. And you do see the network card, or the network interface having a bit of activity on it as well. Yeah, this, you know, slightly odd to have a boot up time on a power bar, but this is one of those things that won't be a factor much. You can update the software for where all these changes can be made without the power being interrupted to the rest of these. So the actual network management card on this is completely separate. Alright, and so fairly quickly we should see that display light up with 2 8s to test the segments, and then hopefully, yep, there we are. And then that'll switch over to 2 right away, and you'll see the outlets start to come on. and apparently that configuration did not save. But you can basically sequence the outlets then. For some reason that didn't work this time. But this is the first time I tried it, so... basically, yeah, there you have it. That's just an overview of this PDU, but also the reset procedure in case you can't find the password. I figured I would put it out there because I couldn't really find any information on it whatsoever, and it's on any of the documentation. This is just showing it with actual load on it. I haven't checked the web interface as of yet, but the readout here is actually slightly lower than it actually should be. So I have a kilowatt style device here. Actually, let's just set that over to amps. There we are. So it seems like it's maybe about 100 milliamps or so less. I have this APC, oops, that's a little leggy, fan there. And so if we go ahead and turn this on, one of the fans, you'll see once it's at 1.16 amps, it pops up to 1, then it pops back down to 0. But if we go ahead and turn the second fan on, you can see that it actually then displays 2 amps, which is a bit closer. So it's a little not quite there, and I just noticed that this camera has some sort of weird thing where I move the camera back and forth. That's a really weird. Oh, some sort of image stabilization. Okay, sorry, but yeah, so that is not entirely accurate. I'm not 100% sure about the web interface, though. Now I'm just distracted by the lag. Okay, but yeah, that's the end of this video. I'll set the sequential start, and I'll videotape that. But aside from that, that's the end of the video. So thanks for watching. I'm just going to do a video for this part. I have both fans on, so on the unit itself it's showing 2 amps, but it's actually displaying 1.8 amps in the overview. And when I had just the one load on, it was showing 0 amps. So it appears that this is 200 milliamps off. I'm not sure if there is an offset that I can apply. I don't believe there is. But, you know, it's relatively close. 200 milliamps in, you know, this sort of application is fairly negligible. And you can't, unfortunately, you can't monitor the current load of each outlet, I don't think. Oh my god, lag on the phone. No configured outlet group. Alright, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but, if you're interested in this sort of thing, then by all means post some comments and I can do a full walkthrough exploration of this sort of software. But, yeah, basically just keep in mind that the actual current readout, at least on my unit, is about 200 milliamps lower. It may be perfectly accurate for yours. This is just mine. There could be some sort of configuration error or calibration error. A little bit more horrible screen footage. I had actually set the reboot duration, but I should have set this duration. And you can actually individually name these outlets, so you can organize what you have on there, which is very nice, and also an external link for some reason. So yeah, I'll just record the actual, basically, sequence to show that they are all working properly. Alright, and this is just the boot up. I already plugged it in, just to speed things up a little bit. It'll just show the sequence of them turning on, because I haven't actually seen this yet. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of weird sort of floaty, image stabilization going on. That's weird. Alright. Oh my god, it's really weird to look at now. Maybe I can turn that off. Alright, and so... and you can of course set it so that pairs go on for dual power supply systems. And with number 8, the fans come on. And so yeah, you can individually turn these on and off from the web interface. There's a whole bunch of really neat stuff, but that right there is a network connected power bar. That's Alright, so yeah, this video is a little long. It's a mix of this tutorial and also just me gushing over this neat little thing that I probably paid too much for, considering it's basically a power strip. But yeah, thanks for watching. Alright, and so this is the first setup, or first startup of the PDU. All of these cables, you'll be able to see them better in a minute. I'm going to organize later on. I just want to get my stuff back up and running. Unfortunately, well, yeah, so we'll have the setup here. Unfortunately, this adapter for the switch is a bit off, but anyways, I'll well, basically, I have the exhaust fan, the rack lighting, and the switch come on right away, as well as the monitor. And then I have my main server come on, my second server with appropriate delays, and then there's a power bar down here, which was the main one, which comes on at 10 seconds later, just to make sure that everything's evened out. I don't need to have this much sort of order when things turn on, but I have the capability, so I figured why not get some practice, just to prevent power surges, theoretically. Alright, so it's about to start up. And there we go. And so there is the amperage display showing 1 amp. And then I actually haven't set the servers to turn on automatically when power is restored. But I will do that, hence the change up. Okay. And then if we head around back again, this is a little bit off. It's probably drawing around 4 amps. I'm not sure, but come on. Oh, that's so 3 amps there, basically is showing. Oh, there we are, 4 amps. Yeah, so a rough sort of, you know, estimated the power use 400 milliamps or below. I'll be able to see it better. Oops. And then there's this really long one from the old power cord, which is going down to that power bar, just so that I have extra outlets for, you know, the other servers that I have for that Barracuda thing. But yeah, that's basically the PDU install. I just had to put it on the back, and then actually didn't really give a view. Having to organize the power cable, the Ethernet cable either. But then it's mounted right back here. You can kind of make out the APC logo. I'm not as proud of it like it, but fairly good. I'm quite happy with that.